Apologies for the strain on my voice in yesterday's video. I will never try to record a video right after stream ever again. I went to take a nap and then I woke up and now I'm recording this one. Anyway, welcome to day 5 of Tier List Week here on the channel. You guys voted in a community poll that you wanted to see an entire week of tier lists. That is 7 days straight of nothing but tier lists back to back. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do for this one. This is a map tier list. This came up on the wheel. And a lot of people just suggested like maps in general. And then like there was like a ton where it was like map aesthetics, map, how cited is each map and everything. And I really tried to figure out what I wanted to do because I'm not entirely sure I like the maps, to be honest with you. I've like there, like every single map has something I greatly dislike about it, and then most maps have things that I love about it. So I tried to figure out, what exactly it was, what exactly I could judge each map off of, and I finally ended up coming up with this. The S tier are maps that I have no strong feelings towards, right? These are maps that I am perfectly fine with. And then as we go down the list, so it'll be like, it'll basically be the opposite of what a normal tier list is. S would be something like apathetic or, apathetic's probably the best bet. And then it'll go down to hate one thing, hate a couple of things. Here, we'll go ahead and I need to remember to write this shit out, dude. I'm so bad about this. So we'll do is fine. One, hate, multiple, hate, audible, groan, delete from the game. We'll go with that. It's the thing about maps is that aesthetically speaking, if I was doing an aesthetics tier list, almost every single map would be in the S or A tier. I basically like all the maps aesthetically. I think Behavior does a pretty good job with aesthetics. But so that's why I didn't want to do aesthetics. In terms of playing on maps, it's just, dude, like there's just so many different little mistakes. We'll talk about them. So first up, we have the Batum set of maps. Every single one of these can be deleted from the game. First off, I dare anybody to tell me, oh, you know what? Instead of delete from the game, no. Let's do this. This is a little bit more constructive. Full rework needed. I challenge anyone to tell me what the difference between the 5 Batums is. Answer, you probably cannot. You could probably give me the differences up to like 3 of them, maybe. But all 5, like some people don't even realize there's 5 iterations. Because off the top of my head, I can think of 2 iterations. The fact that there's 5 of them is mind-boggling because no one can tell you the distinct differences between all 5 of them. But each and every one of the Batum maps suffers from a really inherent design flaw where patrolling gens is near impossible on anybody except for like Nurse, because you have to constantly Nurse and let's say Nurse, Xenomorph, and Freddy. Because you have to constantly go in buildings, upstairs, downstairs, go right back up or right back down the stairs. You have to there's no easy in and outs to each of the buildings, and plus all of them are fucking huge. So it's just, these maps are in desperate need of reworks. If I were to rework them, I would eliminate the 5 variations, and I would go with maybe like 2 variations. We don't need 5. We could make room for other killers that didn't get maps that they should have gotten. But the just eliminate the 5 variations, bring it down to 2, and then just add some sort of ease of patrolling to gens. Like put a couple more gens up on the surface, even if you put them at opposite ends of the maps, as long as they're on the surface. I think it would be a lot better. And then just like kind of nerf some of the buildings, I think, and it'll be good. Next up, we have, this is Coal Tower. Coal Tower is fine. I'm actually, in general, most of the McMillan maps are perfectly fine, in my opinion. Suffocation Pit, Ironworks. These are all fine. I know some people are going to scream like, "Oh, killer bias," but like, even as a survivor, I really don't mind the McMillan maps for the most part. We'll talk about Sheltered Woods in a second. I don't really mind for the most part. I think that including variations was kind of pointless. I'm not really sure why they did that, but I mean, each of the maps has a very specific way about how to play it. You know, Cold Tower is the comp map, quote unquote. It's the map that you need to understand. Like, you know, main building is kind of strong, but not really once the doors are broken. So it's like everything about Cold Tower feels fairly balanced. I forget what this one is called. I know this one's Ironworks. I know this one's Suffocation Pit. I forgot what this one's called. But this one right here with the factory, not factory, the warehouse, the Groaning Warehouse. That's what it's called. That's right. The Groaning Warehouse is also fine. Main building is kind of strong, but not really. Like, that's just the big thing about these, is these are all kind of balanced. You know, Suffocation Pit, as a survivor, you just got to be really careful about 3-genning yourself. It's better to work on a generator on one side of the map, go to the other side to work on a generator, and then alternate until your 3-gen has, you know, 2 on one side and 1 on the other. So it's harder for the killer to patrol. But, you know, if you use your brain a little bit, then it's a really fairly balanced map. And then Ironworks of Misery. The only thing I don't like about this one is there's no hook on the top floor. Behavior is slowly starting to add hooks on top floors to prevent the flip-flop boil over, you're not allowed to hook me bullshit that people like to pull. But in general terms speaking, these are all fairly balanced, really well done. Sheltered Woods. The thing I hate about Sheltered Woods is that the main area feels a bit lackluster. It's supposed to be Skull Merchant's like little hut, you know, with the mannequins and everything. And like, again, aesthetically, it looks really cool. But I feel like, you know, before this, Sheltered Woods had that big tree in it. You guys remember that giant tree? That is, you know, this is just one of those maps where I feel like the main building just needs a little bit more oomph to it, maybe. Maybe make it a little bit bigger, in my opinion. But also the map is just really fucking tiny. So it makes playing on it as Survivor just an absolute pain in the ass. But that's my opinion on that one. Next up, this is the Asylum. Yeah, this one's the Asylum. This one's Chapel. So Asylum, I think I'll put Asylum with 1 hate. My main gripe with Asylum is the randomness of the main building. It's actually the same thing for Chapel. We could do it with both. The main building is just really fucking... No, Chapel's got the randomness. That's right. Asylum isn't that random. We'll put Asylum up here. I'm also probably not going to order these. Like, they're not going to be ordered within the tiers. I'm not going to be like, oh, I like this one better than this one, so it'll go above it in the tier. It's just, we're not doing that. So Asylum's actually fine. Asylum's fairly well balanced. The main building is kind of a pain in the ass, but you can break a couple walls and, you know, get away with a lot more. But Chapel really irritates me because Chapel has like that very randomness to its main building layout. So sometimes you'll have a god window near the gin inside the chapel. Sometimes it'll just be a straight drop down. Sometimes you'll have a god window on the other side. Sometimes it'll just be a straight drop down. There's no consistency to it. And I just really don't like the lack of consistency. It can be very jarring as a survivor to be like, okay, I know, you know, I'm running main building. Main building's normally kind of strong, and then you get up there and it's like, oh, never mind, I can fuck myself. Okay, cool, wonderful. And you can always guarantee that when you're a survivor, the god window will not be there, but when you're killer, the god window will be there. Next up is, this is Red Forest. Is this missing one of the Red Forest maps? This is Mother's Dwelling. Is there more than two? No. No, there's only two Red Forest maps, right? Yeah, Mother's Dwelling and Temple of Purgation. So Mother's Dwelling is honestly, I think both of these maps need reworks. They're too fucking big, they're too cluttered, they're too confusing. There's a lot of collision issues on both of them. I think my biggest issue with the Red Forest maps, and I spoke about this in my three worst maps thing. The biggest problem with the Red Forest maps, at least in my opinion, is that they are just so just confusing. Like, some bushes you can go through, some you can't. Some tree logs are have a little extended part of their hitbox for some reason. Some don't. Some trees you bump into as Billy, and some you slide off of. It's just, I hate them. They're too fucking big. They're too confusing. There's too much wasted space, and the hook distribution on them is atrocious. Like, I don't know what it is with hook spawns in fucking in the Red Forest realm, but a lot of times they'll all like spawn conjugated toward the center, and then you'll have like two on the edges somewhere, and so there'll be entire corners where people can go down, and getting them to a hook is a fucking expedition. It's ridiculous. Next up, we have Gideon's. Everybody knows how I feel about Gideon's. If you watch my three worst maps video, Gideon's is the worst map in the game, in my opinion, not because it's the most unfair, not because it's the most cluttered, not even, kind of because of all the pallets, but not really. The reason I hate Gideon's is because it's boring. It is unequivocally, unapologetically fucking boring. I cannot fucking stand sitting there and watching as survivors pre-drop every single loop, and I have to break the pallet at every single loop. I don't care how many times you 4K on it. I don't care how many times you 4-man out on it. I don't care how consistently you whatever the fuck. It's boring. It is fucking boring. It is one of the most boring. It is the most boring map in the entire game, and it is in desperate need of some sort of rework. Next up, we have, this is not the, what is this one? I forgot there were 5 Cockwind maps. Holy shit. This is the barn. I think the barn is fine. I don't really have any problems with barn. I don't have any problems with Thompson House. I don't have any issues with Slaughterhouse. I don't have any issues with Rancid Arbiter. But this little fucking shit. I audibly groan when Rotten Fields shows up. Like, Rotten Fields is honestly just so fucking dull. So Rotten Fields doesn't have a main building. It has a shack in the middle with a basement. And the rest is just wide open spaces with like 2 decent loops around the edge of the map. And the rest of them are just trash hay bales. And it's just, oh my God, it's so dull. It's just dull. I would much rather them put like a bunch of strong loops you have to break the pallets of around the edge of the map, leave the middle like very open, and then, build an actual main building and get rid of shack. I would much rather that than what they have there. Next up is Leary's. Leary's needs a rework. Now, actually, I'll do audible groan for Leary's, because my only problem with Leary's is that there are too many pallets in it. Like, I don't understand why we have to have a billion windows and a billion pallets. Like, why does every single room have to have a pallet in it? Why does every single section of the hallway have to have a pallet in it? Why are there so many fucking god pallets? There's like 4 god pallets on the map for no fucking reason. And all 4 of those god pallets are right next to windows. So you can literally vault out of a window and drop a god pallet and have an infinite loop right next to you. So if they just reduce the amount of pallets in that map, I would much prefer the philosophy of pallets on Leary's be like the philosophy of windows on Gideon's, Where, you know, Gideon's has a billion pallets, but it's got like 3 windows. This can have a billion windows, but it has like 3 pallets. And I would probably bump it up to like multiple hate, because I just don't like I don't like the concept of building loops out of fucking nothing but pallets and windows. But you know what? I would rather that than what it currently is now. It doesn't need a full rework. These need full reworks. Full head on redo the goddamn map from scratch. Okay, next up. The 2 Yamoka estate maps, they're fine. I think they're fine. They're not offensively horrible. I don't think I have any complaints for them. I really can't think of a single complaint. The statues are really cool. There's no like offensively strong loops. It's got some of the red forest problem where some bushes can be walked through, but others can't. Yeah. Oh, they're fine. They're perfectly fine. Next up, let's see here. Gas Station, Blood Lodge. And I forget the name of the others. I don't mind any of the Azarov maps. The rework to the Azarov maps actually did really good on all of them. They removed a lot of trash clutter. They removed a lot of the trash clutter. They decreased the size of some of them. They rebalanced the hook distribution. They rebalanced the gens. Yeah, I'm fine with the Azarov maps. Ormond's, I'm actually confused because my friend Bran hates Ormond. But I don't mind it at all. I think Ormond's fine. I haven't really... Main building is a gigantic pain in the ass, but other than that, do I want to... Like, do I actually put it for main building? Do I put it at 1 tier down for main building? Is main building, like, bad enough that I put it down? Yeah. Yeah, because of the God window. Like, the God window is really annoying. So, yeah, I'll put it down here. I'll put it down here just because that God window up top is really annoying. But they added a hook up there, so props for that. Area of Cox has actually gotten a lot better since its rework. I don't really mind it. I think some people still think it's bad. My only real problem with it is the collision on the bushes. They need to tighten those up more. I still end up hitting those things from like a mile away as Billy. That's a problem with like a lot of maps in general. Like every map kind of needs a collision rework. That's just like a common problem in the game. Like I play Billy, my friend Bran plays Xenomorph, and both of us, like both of those killers suffer very heavily from bad collision. So yeah, that's my thing. Garden of Jagovs needs a full rework. It's just too strong, dude. It's really, if this was going to be like, if this was like killer sided to survivor sided, this is the most survivor sided map in the game. Every loop on it is just super powerful. It's got path pallets from one end of the map to the fucking other to help you get to every single strong loop. The main building is still the strongest main building in the game. There's big areas of the map with absolutely fucking nothing in them. They changed it and they didn't change it well enough. Next up is Greenville. I just hate the double pallet spawns, honestly. Double pallets, get rid of the double pallet spawns and it goes in the is fine category. I just hate the double pallet spawns, to be real with you. Hawkins, God, what don't I hate about this map? What don't I fucking hate about this map? Its aesthetics are nice. It's actually got 3 floors. It just doesn't utilize them very well. Because I've always wanted an indoor map with 3 floors. But like the sheer amount of pallets... Actually, I think Hawkins needs a full rework. Yeah, Hawkins needs a full rework. The sheer amount of pallets, the fucking... the sheer amount of pallets, the fucking the maze-like structure, like half the fucking doors are closed for no reason. The way that there's 2 single gens. The single gen inside of the actual like area with the portal like place is fucking atrocious. There's like god loops all over the place. Like Hawkins is in desperate need of a full rework. Next up is Shattered Shit. Shattered Shit's actually one that I legitimately don't think needs a rework. I just think that, like, the gin distribution's really bad. The hook distribution is really bad. The map is better after its rework, but it's still not that great. And I think they need to find a way to update the color scheme some kind of way. Some kind of way they need to change the, like, even if they make scratch marks brighter so that they stick out more, just some kind of way to change the color scheme on this fucking map. Next up is Haddonfuck. I don't think Haddonfuck needs a full rework. I just think that, like, they need to get rid of the pseudo-infinite potentials. So Haddonfuck's big problem is there's a bunch of path palettes all over the map, and each of those path palettes leads you to one of the 3 buildings, and each of the 3 buildings is a pseudo-infinite. Like, they all have double, triple window setups, they all have double, triple god window setups. And unless the survivor makes a mistake, you're not catching a survivor as an M1 killer on Haddonfuck. You're just not. You can't. There's no way to fucking do it. Because there's just, every building has multiple god windows. And so, like, you can try to mind game all you want, cut survivors off, but realistically speaking, you're going to find yourself walking in the building, out the building, in the building, out the building, in the building, out the building, and just watching them as they just continuously jump every single fucking window multiple times until you fucking get fed up and go somewhere else. Next up is Swamps. I only hate one thing about the swamp maps, and that's their hook distribution. I like that they use every inch of the map. I just think that they need to add more hooks if they're going to do that, because having one hook near the center of the map and then the next closest hook being all the way in a back corner is ridiculous. There needs to be one in between them. But outside of that, I think the swamp maps are fine. Toba Landing is fine. I actually like pretty much everything about Toba Landing. I don't really dislike anything about Toba. It's a little bit cluttered. It's more cluttered than I would like, but it's not nearly as bad as Red Forest. Nostromo is, in my opinion, the perfect map. It's got one side of it is killer sided, one side of it is survivor sided. So both sides are constantly in a tug of war trying to get the other side to go to the side that favors them the most. I really like Nostromo. I don't have legitimately, I have zero complaints about Nostromo. I think it's the epitome of a perfect map. Next up is Dead Dog. Dead Dog's fine. A Dead Dog's not that bad. It's a little bit frustrating, but it's not terrible. It's got some variety, some elevation, some decent places to hide, some decent loops. Yeah. Mid bitch. Yeah, mid bitch is fun. I think mid bitch is okay. It's not terrible. It's not awful. It's not, atrocious or anything. It's just all right. I don't really have any problems with it per se, so much as, like, there's nothing that really stands out to me as good, but nothing stands out to me as bad either. So it's got some cool Easter eggs. Yep, that's about all I have to say about it. And finally, the East and West wings of RPD. They're just one big god loop. Is the problem with RPD in general. Like, no matter which side you're on, East or West, they're both just one gigantic god loop. If the survivor can start at one of, like, 30 different areas of the map, like one of 30 different palettes on the map, they can run the killer for the entire 5 gens without even thinking about it. It's just so easy to run killers for a long time on this map, just due to the way that each and every loop and room connects to each other. That just makes it is just one big god loop. But, like, I honestly don't think it needs a full rework. I just think some palettes here and there probably need to be taken out or changed into unsafe palettes, and it would be a lot better. But that's my map tier list. I don't think this is what anybody really I don't think this is what anybody really wanted, but this is the best I could give you guys. Unfortunately, when it comes to maps, I just don't think about them that much. in terms of playing the game. I don't really I don't really like I don't see maps and like start thinking about them as deep as I do other aspects of the game. You know, every single DBD commentator, you know, has like just one thing that they don't think that much about, and for me it's maps. I don't think that much about maps. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, a very good special thank you to my channel members listed on the screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today and get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. Love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.